Welcome back to Lesson 4. In this video, we're going to install and configure WordPress and actually make a website live. This is where the magic happens. So first things first, we need to go to the WordPress website to download WordPress. To do that, we have to go to wordpress.org. Then we're going to click on Download WordPress 4.2.2. That's the most recent installation of WordPress. I've already downloaded it, but I'll just go through and show you that you're going to save this zip file in the demo folder that we created. So I've already got mine downloaded here. But that's where you save it, right in that folder that we created, right in demo. And just to show you that once that downloads, if you go into FileZilla, that web space that you created for your preview, and you connected to your folder on your desktop called demo, now you can see over here, there's your WordPress installation right there. What we're going to do now is we're going to open up the zip file and we're going to edit some of the configurations in WordPress to get it ready to upload. So to do that, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to go into that folder and I'm going to go ahead and open up this WordPress zip file. Okay, now this is extracted and ready to go. So I'm going to open this up and you'll see that when you open it, there's a secondary folder called WordPress. So there it is. Now you're going to see a whole bunch of files in here. The one that we're going to work with is this configuration file. And in here it says wp-config-sample. However, what we need to do is after we're done editing this file, we need to make sure that that sample word isn't in there. So I'm going to open this. This is where one of the programs I talked about earlier comes in handy, Dreamweaver. This is part of my Adobe CC subscription. I'm going to open this file in Dreamweaver. That way I can modify it right in here. All right, that'll open up here in just a moment. Okay, so now I have my wp-config file open here in Dreamweaver, and these are the settings that we're going to be updating. Now, what this file does is it tells WordPress what the settings are for your database. So when we upload WordPress, it will connect to your database with this file, and it will start uploading files and settings and everything that it needs to get your database up and running to make WordPress work. So you remember before we created that info file in our demo folder where we put our database settings. So I'm going to grab some settings from here and just paste those into this configuration file. So I'm just going to move this right over here. All right, so first things first, database name goes here. Now when you paste in your settings for your database name and so on, just make sure that you leave these little quotation marks here at the beginning and at the end. The only thing that you're going to replace is this piece here. So I'm just going to grab the database name here and I'm going to put that in here. All right, now I need the username, and that's right here. Host name, username right there. So I'll grab that, and username goes here. All right, password. What did I use for my password? Ah, there we go. There's my password. Great. Make sure there's no spaces at the beginning or the end. Be careful about that. And then my database host. And that is this one. That whole thing. All right. And that goes here. Now I'm going to save the file as wp-config. So I'm going to take that -sample out of there. Make sure it's in the right place. Yes, it is. And save. Okay, good. Now I can close these. Now the other thing that I'm going to do is back in this folder, I'm going to open up this WordPress folder again. I'm just going to get rid of that sample file because we don't need that. The other thing is we don't need this readme.html either. We can get rid of that too. All right, now I have my files ready to upload. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to jump back over to FileZilla. Now I'm just going to refresh. So if I right click in here and I refresh, there's my WordPress folder. All right, here we go. There's all my files. So we have to open everything up and access all these files, and we're just going to drop them in over here. So what I'm going to do is select this first one and then shift select all the way down to the bottom so they're all selected except for that root folder there. Then I'm just going to drag and drop them over. So now it connects and it's uploading everything. So what's really cool about FileZilla, I just want to show you something here. You can make this a bit larger here. I'm going to move that up a bit here. And you can see how many files are in the queue to upload. And it counts down as they upload. So these are the ones that have been successfully uploaded. And it'll let you know here if any have failed. So this really comes in handy when you're uploading things through FileZilla. You can see how many are uploading, what didn't upload, and you can upload them again if you need to, and what was successful. So I got about 1,000 files to go, so I'm just going to pause it here and magically come right back, and they'll all be uploaded. I'll be right back. Okay, voila, all the files are uploaded. Now, just going to refresh this real quick. There we go. See, all the files are there. Now what we want to do is go to that subdomain that we created in a browser and see if this site comes up. It should just be a generic WordPress website with nothing on it. Not much anyway. All right. So if you recall, we called this your preview today.com. All right, let's try that. Okay, good. Now this is what you see when you first install a WordPress site. So if all the files upload successfully, if your database connects successfully, this is what you see. This is good. So to get everything set up, we're going to choose United States English. Okay, and continue. All right, now site title, it's just a demo, but your site title can be whatever you want it to be. Username, create your own username and create a password. And password, this can just be anything for now. We can change it later. This is where that password random.org thing comes in handy. You want a good strong password. Mine's very weak, just ignore that. All right, now email, I'm going to put in my email address here. Okay, now in terms of search engine visibility, this is just a demo site. We don't want search engines to cache this in yet. We want to do that later. So I'm going to come back to this search engine optimization stuff later, but for now, we don't want Google or any search engines to pick this up. Now we're going to choose Install WordPress, and off we go. All right, successfully installed. Now what we're going to do is choose Login. My mouse is giving me trouble here. Okay, here we go. Login. So now this is the generic WordPress admin login. So after you install WordPress and you want to log into your admin, this is what it looks like. So now just using that username and password that I just created, I'm going to log in. And now this is what our dashboard looks like. So when you log in as an administrator, this is what you see. Okay, great. Now we know that everything is working. The website is installed, it's successful, we can log into the admin. I'm just going to click up here real quick so you can see, and mouse, there we go. Okay, so if I click here and I can choose visit the site so I can see that it looks there. It's just a generic WordPress theme, it's up, it's running, it's great. So our next step is going to be making sure that we have all of our WordPress settings set up the right way. So to do that, I'm just going to click back here and go back into my admin. And we'll go through a few things inside this admin just to make sure that we have everything set up the right way. Just want to show you a couple of quick things first. When you first log in and you see your dashboard, all these things that you see right here, you can customize the way that your dashboard looks based on what you want to see. And that's done right here under Screen Options. So under here, I typically have plugins, and this will show different plugins up here, but I typically have like contact form plugins and analytics plugins and so forth. So I don't like to see all this stuff that I don't need. WordPress news, who needs to see that? Welcome, yeah, welcome. I don't want to see that either. So I can turn a lot of this stuff off. And you can even move stuff around too if you want to. So you can dock these windows in whatever place that you want. But I'll typically have my contact forms, my analytics. I'll show the things that I really like to see here and not all the generic stuff that I don't want to see. So that comes in handy. And it'll remember your settings. So next time you log in, it'll remember what that looks like. All right, so to set up some of your basic WordPress settings, we're just going to go right here under Settings. So this is your site title. This is what shows up here in this tab. It'll say Demo. But you can make this say whatever you want, or you don't have to have anything in there at all. And then here, this is your URL. So all these settings are fine. You don't need to worry about changing this. This is your main admin email address. So if there's an upgrade to the website or it needs an upgrade, if somebody registers, this is the email address that all that info is going to be sent to. That's your main admin email that's shown right here in settings. You can update that right here if you need to. All these other settings you don't need to worry about right now. So if I go under the Reading tab here, this is where we set up, for instance, my home page, front page displays, and then if I have pages set up, home, about, contact, services, and so forth, then I can choose front page can display my home page. So I would choose home from this list. So in fact, let's go do that. Let me show you how to just quickly set that up. Let me go here under Pages, and I'm going to create a new page, and I'll call it Home, and then I'll just publish that. And I'll show you more about working with these pages later on, but this is just to show you how to get these settings all done. And again, I'm going to go back into Reading under Settings. So now I want my home page to display a home page. Done. And then for your blog page, posts is blog. So then you can create a page under pages called blog, and you can make your post page display blog. So typically that's what you want to do. You want it to be home and blog. And then I typically have blog pages set up to show either 5 or 10 posts at a time and summary. And then make sure that we're not caching in for search engines right now. It's just a demo site. So I'll go ahead and save that. All right, now let's go. I'm just going to go back out. I want to show you something here. All right, so we have home page, and there was a sample page created in there too. Let me see if I can. Let me go back. Okay. What I want to do is show you what it does with page names if you don't set up the settings. I want to see if it does it here. So here's a sample page. I'm just going to view this real quick and see. No, it says sample page. Sometimes when you create pages in a new WordPress site, the page names will come up as numbers. And I'll show you where to change that. So if you wanted to actually show the page name instead of a bunch of numbers, I'll show you where to change that. It's under Settings, and it's under Permalinks. Under here, you're going to choose this, and then it'll change this to post name. So just choose Custom and Save. That'll make it so that whenever you create new pages, it's not going to show them as this. It defaults to page 1, 2, 3. It defaults to numbers, which is ridiculous. To have the actual name in the URL is really important for search engine visibility, because page names also act as keywords. So keep that in mind later when we talk about search engine optimization, because that's important. Keywords are really important, and they're in page names too. So that's how you set that. And I think, all right, so discussion settings. So if you have a blog and you're allowing commenting on your blog, you can allow commenting. However, WordPress is famous for spam comments. So be careful about how these settings are set up. I would make it so that you can allow comments if you want to. I typically don't, but I usually make it so that comments have to be approved by the administrator. So they're held for moderation and they have to be approved by the administrator. So that's important because you'll end up with a lot of spam if you're allowing comments on your blog post. So just keep that in mind. Again, on my blog, I don't even bother allowing commenting. I just add blog posts to my page because blog posts are good for SEO. It's good for search engine optimization. All right, so that is how you install, configure, and get a generic WordPress site up and running. In my next lesson, I'll be talking about working with themes and getting a website actually looking like a website. So stay tuned. That one's going to be even more fun. Thanks, guys.